In this video I'm going to take a look at some things that Battlefield 2018 has to have. When I refer to Battlefield 2018 I'm talking about the next Battlefield title, whether it's going to be called BF 2018, it could be called Battlefield Vietnam, Battlefield Cold War, Battlefield World War II, Battlefield 5, we don't know. But I'm going to refer to it as Battlefield 2018 because that is the year in which it is being made. I'll go through some things that I think the game has to have, and this is independent of what genre or setting the game is. Say for example they bring out a World War II game, I don't think they will, but say they did, these things would still apply. If they brought out a futuristic game, the same things would still apply. So there's a lot of things that can be discussed without actually knowing exactly where the game will be set. Of course these aren't all the things I think the game needs, you can leave some more down in the comments. I could talk about this for hours, I often do on stream, things that I think the game really needs, and it needs it on release too, not halfway through the game's life as we've seen in previous titles like Battlefield 4 and Battlefield 1. So starting off, things that I know it will have, such as massive hype, brilliantly put together trailers, a fantastic visual and audio experience. We all know Battlefield will do that, DICE will do it, and I know that they'll put together something very special that will be able to be hyped up, and videos will look fantastic. You know the drill with a Battlefield game and anything made by DICE. Aside from that, there are a massive list of things that I think need to be in the game, and starting off, we'll look at the modes. In my opinion, I think DICE need to concentrate on a few modes instead of oversaturating with loads of stuff that people don't play. We've seen it in Battlefield 4 and Battlefield 1, lots and lots of modes, but none of them have been perfected. I think Battlefield 1 really missed an opportunity when the developers didn't really put that much effort into the Rush game mode, a game mode that I thought was fantastic in previous Battlefields. Didn't really work that well in Battlefield 4, but that was down to the maps, but the game mode itself is fantastic. They didn't do enough in Battlefield 1, and in my opinion, Rush should come back into the new Battlefield and be a core game mode. Frontlines is also a lot of fun, Operations is great, and Conquest is of course the staple game mode. Concentrating on those four could be perfect, maybe a TDM game mode as well, making 5 in total. I think that's all the game needs. Future DLCs could bring in little extra game modes. They've done that in the past, but for me, I really don't see the point in that. Concentrate on having a few game modes that work perfectly. Everyone will play them, you'll have all the player base playing on things that they understand, they know, instead of having these games like War Pigeons. Yeah, it's fun for maybe a couple of games, but not that many people play it. War Pigeons did work and it was a good game mode, don't get me wrong, but you don't have to have everything in a Battlefield game for it to be good. You can just concentrate on a couple of game modes. Take PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds for example, completely different game, kind of unfair to compare it, but it only has one mode and one map, yet it has 2 million concurrent players. You don't have to have 10 different modes in order for a game to be good, you just need to perfect one of them. Leading on from the modes and the problems Battlefield's had with the modes, you need to have maps that are purpose built. My best example for this is Gormwood Railway on Battlefield 4, a big open map. A great conquest map, I think the vehicle balance is all wrong, but the map itself I don't have too much of a problem with. When they introduced Rush on that map, they literally put MCOMs in the middle of the map, changed the borders on the out of bounds, no-go zone was, and then just let it go. That was it, that was the Rush map. It didn't work at all. They then patched it, put some little crates here and there, changed the placement on the MCOMs, and it still didn't really work. It was okay, but it definitely wasn't purpose built. If they put together a purpose built map that was designed for Rush, it was the best Rush map they'd ever made on Battlefield and everybody loved it, that's all you'd need. People would play it on repeat. There would be tons of 24/7, let's assume they have custom servers that is, but there'd be tons of 24/7 servers that just concentrated on the one mode and the one map. We've seen it in Battlefield 4. How many 24/7 locker servers and 24/7 metro servers have you seen? BF3, you've got loads of them. Damavan Peak, Rush, 24/7. People play it again and again because it's that good. If Battlefield 2018 concentrate on having a few modes with maps that are custom built and tailored just to that mode, that is the way to go in my opinion. A good DLC system is also very important. I think Battlefield 1 has good DLC, but the way it's been introduced into the game is less than ideal. The problem is that people are getting bored of the content because it's just not good enough, and then they're putting the game down and not picking it back up when the new DLC comes out. The Russian DLC was one of the best DLCs I've ever seen in a Battlefield game. The amount of content that came out in that DLC was staggering, but did that many people play it? I really don't think so. That DLC needed to come out far sooner. The DLCs we're expecting in the upcoming months need to have been out already. I know it's really difficult for the development team because this is like pretty high standard stuff that they're pumping out, and although you are paying for it, it's still got to be developed and tested. But for me, if they were bringing out maps more regularly and making them free if possible, I think that would do the game itself a lot of good. The weapons and stuff, I'm more than happy that some of them are hidden behind paywalls in terms of DLC, as long as they're not the best gun in the class. For me, I'd much rather have free maps and customization being hidden behind loot boxes if they have to put in loot boxes. I hate them entirely. I think you should pay for the game at the start and that's it. But if they're going to do it, and you know EA are going to do it, I really don't want them to have any pay-to-win features in the game, and definitely not DLC stuff that is splitting the community. So for me, the best way to go around it, free maps if possible, and then customization and visual aspects of the game could be hidden behind maybe a loot crate. So you pay for a loot crate, you could get a weapon skin. Weapon skins do not bother me in games. I don't care about what skin I've got on my gun. I'm more than happy to pay a quid for a gold skin if that's what I really wanted, as long as everybody I know who bought the base game is playing on all the modes, all the maps, all the weapons, no pay to win. That, in my opinion, is the best way around it. An even better way is to not have any pay to play at all, and not any microtransactions, but we all know, as I said before, EA will not let that happen. They will rinse the customer as best they can, because that's how marketing and that's how companies like this, with big shareholders, with profits to make and a bottom line to meet, will run. The key for me is having a good DLC system, making sure that you are getting enough people buying the base game and then enough people playing the DLC. They'll have learnt a lot from Battlefield 1, and I think they'll still stick to the 4 DLC system they've had with Battlefield 4 and Battlefield 1, but I think they'll tweak it just a little bit. Another really important feature I feel the new Battlefield game has to have is a CTE, a community test environment. This needs to be on PC and console, and it needs to be there from the very start. I don't like the fact that they are publicly testing new maps on the CTE either. I like the fact they're being tested, I think that's great, but I don't like the fact as a creator that you're allowed to post stuff from those maps. It's great for views on your channel and stuff like that, but it really ruins the excitement of the game. It would be far better if you had people testing under NDA. Maybe a couple of things would be leaked, but leaks are kind of fun, as long as people aren't showing actual gameplay from the maps in, its full entirety. I feel that's a better way to go, but for me, the most important feature is having a community test environment from the start, testing features and getting the game fixed. A class balance in a similar fashion to Battlefield 1 is needed, but I feel as if it needs to be more entertaining gunplay overall. I really like the way that Battlefield 1 has 4 classes that all have a specific purpose. In Battlefield 4, if you don't take the Assault class or the Medic class, you're in a lot of trouble on most maps. If you don't take the Engineer class as a vehicle player, you're in a lot of trouble. Sniper and Support, not really needed. They are fun, but they're not needed in the game. It's just Assault and Engineer. In Battlefield 1, every class has its place. I'm not a fan of the gunplay, but it is fairly balanced. There are a few weapons like the Hellregal that aren't, but I think that they'll, again, learn a lot from this. Make the TTK slightly lower, you want a lower time to kill, similar to Battlefield 4. Guns more interesting like in Battlefield 1 instead of the burst fire AEK meta that you had in Battlefield 4. There's a lot of stuff the dev team can do with this, a lot of work they can do, but taking things from Battlefield 1 and Battlefield 4 and mixing them together would be the best approach in my opinion. We've already seen this, to be fair, with Battlefield 1. They've been testing things in the CTE. People thinking that they're doing that to fix Battlefield 1, I think they're being a little bit naive there. I think they're testing stuff for the new Battlefield. Same with Incursions. I think that is a test for the upcoming Battlefield. Maybe they want to turn that into a staple game mode, I'm not certain. But there's no way that a year into Battlefield 1, when players have put the game down, that they're going to start introducing brand new stuff and trying to bring it back to life. They've already got the money off you, you bought the game. They're not going to try and then get you back to playing it again when there's no money in it for them. Therefore, it's in my opinion that they're doing this stuff for the new Battlefield, so I'm hoping that we're going to have something far similar to Battlefield 4 than we've had for Battlefield 1. Next, let's have a look at the vehicles. For me, Battlefield 2018 has to have better vehicles than in Battlefield 1. Of course, it depends on the setting of the game. I think Battlefield 1 was limited with what they could do, but for me, it needs to be more like Battlefield 3 and Battlefield 4 than Battlefield 1. If it's modern combat, of course, DICE will excel. They love this sort of stuff. World War 2 again, it's far easier to do than World War 1 in my opinion. I want proper tank gameplay. Battlefield 3 tanks, if possible, reactive armor, smoke, skilled tank gameplay. jets, make them skilled again. The planes in Battlefield 1 are so easy, there's no speed control, there's nothing interesting about them at all. It's just fly, you don't even take off, you just fly along, you shoot people with your explosive rounds, and then you repair by holding X. There's no skill involved in that at all, really. I want a high skill ceiling. Think attack helicopter in Battlefield 4. How good can you be with an attack helicopter? You can learn and learn and learn. Even the people that are the best in the world in the attack heli have still got ways of getting better, because there's a massive skill ceiling. Let me know what you think of vehicles down in the comments. This is kind of a specialty for me because I've spent a lot of time in them on Battlefield games. I feel like DICE really have a lot to do with what they did with Battlefield 1. They've got to really improve that in order to get me playing the vehicles for thousands of hours again. Finally, this is a little thing, but something that I really think would help my experience in Battlefield. They need a proper server browser again. I want to be able to view the server I'm going to join. I want to be able to join on friends because, believe me, on PC at least, it's completely broken with the Origin system. I need to be able to join squads. I need my platoons to be actually working like they were in Battlefield 4. They really need to sort that out. Even if it is an online server browser, it's not ideal, but it could work far better than what they have in BF1, which in my opinion is a little bit broken, even a year into its release. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like down below. Let me know what you think Battlefield 2018 has to have in order to be successful. We're talking about things that are not related to the setting or genre of the game, things that you think they could apply to any setting or any Battlefield title. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll catch you in the next video.